That's someone who spins records or CDs. Talksport DJ James Whale has been sacked for urging people to vote Tory. And it goes on. Yorkshire-based Mr. Whale, 56, has worked for the station since it launched in 95. His show went out from 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. Monday through Thursday. An outspoken right-winger with a long history of courting controversy, he had considered standing for mayor himself before publicly pledging support for Mr. Johnson. And it went on to say, James Whale, guilty of serious error of judgment, which we found totally unacceptable, Talksport said. This isn't the first time the controversial radio personality has created a stir. And it went on to just talk about page after page of the vicious things he's done. I mean, this is a person who actually doubts man-made global warming and speaks out against the religious tenet and so much more. What other things outrage the Ministry of Truth individuals?
Well, practically everything I say. But listen, I have to be, first of all, the enormous amount of complaints I got to what we refer to as Ofcom were 3. Okay? But I have to stick up for my former employees because they were lent on. If they hadn't sacked me, they were in danger of losing their right to broadcast. Okay?
Yeah, but we need to have broadcasters fight the establishment, fight the system.
We have first of all, what I said, I'm fully aware of the rules that surround me, okay? And I thought that what I was saying was in a humorous vein. Do you know what I mean? I thought we were being a little satirical about this. As the Prime Minister was getting behind the other guy, I thought I should perhaps show that there was some support.
Notice how this works. Notice how all the government people and any other talk show host who's pro-New World Order, you're also anti-European Union and anti-New World Order, they're all allowed to say whatever they want. This has been selectively enforced. You have been persecuted. Go ahead.
Well, thank you for that. I feel persecuted, I have to say, because, I had a job 1 minute, the next minute I had no job, and I've been doing this, like you, Alex, for most of my life. Let me tell you, things today are far more difficult and far more restricted than they have ever been before.
Well, they're going to get a lot more restrictive as everybody goes bankrupt and they have the black-clad stormtroopers confiscating your homes. I mean, we can't have James Whale on air not, saying, Hail Britannia. We've got to have somebody who is pro-New World Order, look, 80+% of your population is against going into the European Union. We can't have a talk show host who's wildly popular who agrees with sovereignty, can we?
No, it's a huge problem. You cannot do a talk radio show unless you have a point of view. I don't care what your point of view is, but you have to have a point of view. And it's not acceptable to suddenly say to somebody, you can't think this, you can't think that, you can't say this, you can't say that. Otherwise, we have no freedom of speech.
And then the entire population, young people growing up, model their speech off of news, off of talk radio, and that's why we have a generation of people in this country and in your country, because we used to have this here too, where they always say that they don't have an opinion or couch everything like lawyers. Successful talk radio, the number one rule, and I know you know this, is that you have an opinion and you stick with it and that you don't back off.
Do you know how many talk radio stations we have in the UK?
Not many.
Well, we have one national one, which was the one I was on. These are commercial stations, not the BBC, obviously. They don't have any either. We have 3 local talk radio stations, one in London, one in Edinburgh, and one in Liverpool, and that is it.
I must have been on a bunch of their shows then, because I've been on a few in London, a few in Scotland, quite a few in Ireland, and then the more I think about it, usually it was just a handful of station hosts.
Yeah.
And they would usually snivel at me and laugh at me, and or they'd call up saying they were friendly, which they could have said they hated me and I would have come on.
Yeah.
And then I'd get on air, and I'd later learn that it was a tape show, and they'd cut it up and then make fun of me. So I guess it's okay to then have a view that the government's good, surveillance is good. So James, you can have a view just so long as it's groveling and worshiping the government.
Most most people are frightened who are on the air in this country. They want to suck up to the people who employ them. I have been very, very lucky that my employers have encouraged me over the years to be controversial because nobody else in this country has done it. Now, I overstepped the mark. And to be quite honest with you, I actually didn't mean to do it. Some of it slipped out of my mouth.
You're a thought criminal. Exactly. Winston may have been speaking in his sleep when the telescreen picked it up.
You know, but I don't know. I have to say I have no animosity to them. If if at some point they'd like to offer me a job back, I may well be prepared to say yes.
Say you're sorry to BB. Say apologize to Big Brother before they send you to the Chestnut Cafe.
But, I have discovered that the place for broadcasters is the Internet. And that is the place where there is freedom of speech and there is freedom of expression. And in this country, we have hardly any Internet radio to talk of. We got a few stations that play music. I can put a CD in my car or in my MP3. Hang on, I'm going to just turn that off for one moment because that's my other phone. I have to. Hang on. Do you like my ringtone?
Yes, it's very nice. What was it?
It was some gangster rap that I recorded from some radio station in America. But I had to stop it before the rude words ensue.
Well, James, in the time we've got here, I agree that it's the future, but we need the old media to energize the new media, and that's what I've done. I've used old media platforms, starting out Access TV, then local radio, then syndicated radio, to then energize the new media, and then together the two have a synergy. And so that's why I think it's important that you get booked on as many UK shows as you can to launch your new website. That's why I hope people will visit it, will spread the word about it, because we need to see you rise out of the ashes like a phoenix.
I was on Sky TV this morning talking about the news. I'm on once a week at the moment on Sky Television, which is a satellite TV station like CNN over here, broadcasts all over the world. And I'm doing a few things. So I'm sitting here and reorganizing myself.
No, I understand. Tell us about the radio show. You just started it. You've got it coming up live in about 15 minutes. Tell us a little bit about what you're going to do on that show that you didn't do on the Big Brother program.
Well, at the moment, I'm just going to be talking. We don't have the facility to take calls and things live on air, and I'm going to talk to your people about how we can learn from you. But I'm going to be sitting here. I'm just going to be going through the newspapers. I'm going to be referring to some of the emails that people have sent me and stuff like that. And also, what we're probably going to do tonight as well, we're going to replay for the people who haven't been able to hear your radio show, you and me on for the last hour. We're going to replay this on jameswhaleradio.com as well.
Good. Absolutely. I asked you to do that, and that's a good idea. Thanks for doing that. But, I mean, you can't tell me that it's not wrong that they fired you. I mean, I understand you're trying to be friendly. You're still doing a spot on international TV through the same company. So I understand why you're trying to make nice, but they have fired you from your main job. If three complaints from haters of free speech and lovers of that monster Big Brother mayor you had could do this, what about listeners contacting Talksport and politely telling them, and what about them contacting the little control freaks at the government body and telling them that this is seen as a real attack on free speech?
Whether or not that will have any effect at all, I don't know. But if people want to do that, there are people who are organizing all sorts of campaigns. I'd be very humble for them to do that. But I think I have to now. They got rid of me. I have to look towards the future, and I have to look after my own interests and try and make something out of this, Alex, like you have.
Absolutely. Anything else? I mean, many other times you were biting your lip where you wanted to say something, but you self-censored. Just the thought of having to think about what you're going to say is censorship itself, many have found.